Welcome to the Modern Day Cottage. I'm Emily Ryder and this is my daughter,
Ruben.
Today we're going to be sharing with you an ideal winter evening filled with mouth-watering fragrance of freshly made sourdough tortillas and a succulent beef roast made into fajitas. And we're also going to help you create some fire starters to relax by an evening fire. We're going to show you how we make our beef roast fajitas. So you want at least a 3 to 4 pound roast, and you want to rinse it off very good and then pat it dry with a paper towel. And then you're going to pan sear it on medium-high heat in a cast iron Dutch oven. We are using an enamel cast iron Dutch oven. I will put it down in the links below as well in our Amazon shop this recipe. I will also put a link below our kitchen essentials Amazon storefront as well. You're going to use maybe like 2 tablespoons of, I'm using bacon fat, rendered bacon fat. You could use olive oil, shortening, or butter, or coconut oil even. But you'll probably, if you use coconut oil, use refined coconut oil so it doesn't have the coconut flavors and offset your fajita taste. So you want to sear each side of the beef roast until it's lightly brown. And then once it's seared, you're going to put it in the oven at 325, and depending on the size, this one cooked for 2 hours. And then you're going to sprinkle it with fajita seasoning, and you also want to put in 1 to 2 cups of liquid beef stock is excellent, or 1 cup of water. But if you use beef stock, you use 2 cups. This will keep it moist and tender as it cooks in the oven. Then you want to put the lid on and then put it in the oven for at least 2 hours. For this one's about 3 pound roast. If it's 4 pounds, you want it anywhere between 2 to 4 hours in the oven. If you like this video, please give us a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel and click the bell so you get notification when we release new content weekly. We made some sourdough discard flour tortillas. You can find that recipe on our blog as well at themoderndaycottage.com. We're using 1 cup of sourdough starter, some olive oil, some water, and you're going to mix this up really good, and then you'll add in your dry ingredients. Alright, we're using all-purpose unbleached flour and some salt. I find that a mixer works faster and more efficient than just doing it by hand, but I have done it by hand for years and it's turned out it's still edible even if you mix it by hand, but it does tend to have a tougher dough when you knead by hand, no matter what the bread recipe is. But you most certainly can knead by hand, but I prefer to use the KitchenAid while I have my KitchenAid to use. We absolutely love this KitchenAid. Then you're going to want to let it cover and rest for 30 minutes. And then once it's rested, well, while it's resting, go ahead and prepare your tortilla press or get your rolling pin out and parchment paper. Alright, so you get the dough out. You're going to divide it into 8 sections. And as always, you can find the recipes at themoderndaycottage.com. Alright, so you're going to divide it into 8 sections and you're going to roll them into balls. This helps the tortillas to stay uniform and round when you press them, either by a roller or by a tortilla press. And again, we'll put the products in the links below, shop this recipe, And we'll also have our essential kitchen essentials as well at our Amazon storefront at the Modern Day Cottage. We found that pressing the tortillas with a tortilla press was the best option, and then using a roller to make it even thinner. But you can just most certainly just use the press, but it does make a thicker tortilla. But if you like thicker, just use the press. But if you like thinner, use a rolling pin to roll it out to be a thinner tortilla. Any affiliate link that you click on in the video below, we do make a small commission at no cost to you. And I find if you just peel one side of the parchment paper over and you place it on to a hot crepe pan, that it does the best. And then you can just, as it's cooking, you can peel that second layer, and you can keep reusing these parchment papers over and over again to complete the 8 tortilla shells. And you'll want to brown them on both sides until lightly crisp and brown, and you'll see it start bubbling up, and you'll know that it's ready to flip. This pan makes dreamy crepes as well as homemade tortilla shells. These are flour tortilla shells, but you can also make them out of whole wheat. You can end up making chips out of these homemade tortillas as well. You can cut them into pie-shaped sections and put them in the air fryer and fry the tortillas. Alright, so we got the beef roast out of the oven, and you want to get kind of the fat parts off and away, and you're going to fork, you're going to just separate it and let people either serve themselves or go ahead and put it in a bowl for your family to enjoy these homemade tortilla shells with your fajita beef roast. You can use a sourdough starter, or you can use a sourdough discard for these tortilla shells as well. I freshly diced up some tomatoes, some bell peppers, and some onions, and we have some cheddar cheese, and then some taco sauce to go on top. I let the lettuce go bad, so we didn't have lettuce to go on it, but I do enjoy fresh romaine lettuce chopped up on the top and some sour cream, but we didn't have the sour cream either on hand. But you just make do with what you've got and enjoy the blessings you do have. It was actually very delicious this way. It's a very good seasoning recipe that we have that you can find on the blog as well. I have been making this fajita seasoning for, 15 years, I guess. It is a seasoning that I absolutely love, but I like a little bit more spice. You can omit the cayenne pepper that's in the recipe if you don't like as much spice in your fajita seasoning. You can also bake this in the Instapot, your roast. You can also do it in a crock pot, or you can even try an air fryer, although I think that would tend to dry it out a lot more than in an Instapot or a crock pot. We are making our homemade DIY fire starters, and we do this every winter, and we are using lint that we have gathered for the past year from our dryer, and we are going to use up all that lint to make some fire starters for our fireplace. We are not using any pine materials at all, because that will actually pop out of your fireplace if you use any kind of pine additives. We're just using a cinnamon stick, a bay leaf, and wax, and then our lint, and a candle wick with some stickers that hold the candle wick up, and some unbleached muffin tin liners. And use a separate muffin tin for these. This is our crafting muffin tin that we use specifically just for our fire starters. The candle wax kit I did get off of Amazon. In the years past, we have used just like a can from like tomatoes, and the can rusts after you use it, and you have to throw it away. And we don't really buy canned products anymore, now that we mostly can our own food in bulk during the peak season, tomato season. So we don't really have that many consumable canned products left over from using anything in our kitchen. So this year I purchased a candle making kit off of Amazon to use for our fire starter kits that we make here in our cottage. One or two fire starters is enough to get your fire going or your bonfire going outside. It doesn't take long for these to set up, maybe 2 hours, and they're completely set up. And you can pop them out of the muffin tin, and you can package them for gift giving ideas. But we use all of our starters here in our cottage throughout the winter and early spring season. You can add different elements to these fire starters, like lavender, rosemary, lemon zest, orange zest. I mean, the creative ideas are endless to your DIY homemade fire starters. Thank you again for watching with us today here at the Modern Day Cottage, and as always, we will bring you homemade recipes, cottage living, and a cozy home. We'll see you in the next video.